This is part 2 and the conclusion of the story titled The Need of a Woman. Women need money, but there is something they need that money cannot buy. Follow me, let's watch this video. This is Nene. She is a newly married wife to Mr. James. Remember, Mr. James' belief is that all a woman needs is money. So he is not always at home because he works hard to make more money. Today, the wife is having a severe stomach pains, precisely severe menstrual pains. She picked up her phone to call her husband, Mr. James. The always busy husband answered her call. She was brief with the call because of pains. When she dropped the call, Mr. James called his neighbor, Mr. Fred, on the phone. Mr. Fred was very busy and far from home when his phone rang. He brought out his phone and it was his neighbor. He already knew there was a problem. Mr. James pleaded with him to go and check on his wife for him and gave his normal excuse of being busy and far from home. He promised to show him appreciation later. A kind-hearted man, Mr. Fred, who has been of a great help to Mr. James' wife Nene, accepted to render the help asked of him. When the phone went off, he rushed away to meet Nene. Mr. Fred entered the room and found Mr. James' wife fighting stomach ache, which seemed unbearable. He stood for a few seconds staring at her and bent to observe her and to ask some questions too. Nene could not say much but managed to whisper to his hearing, and she said, "Pains. Menstrual pains." Mr. Fred thought of what could subside the pains until the husband returns. He has heard a lot about women and their menstrual pains. He told himself that this is the time to put what he heard in action. He left the room. He went to buy yogurt for her, as that was the only thing he could think of that moment that is capable of cooling her stomach to give her some relief. He entered the room and helped her to sit up in the bed. At this time, Fred is getting too attached to Mr. James' wife, and it is obvious the lady is not complaining. Looking at their sitting position right now, you can tell how free they have become with each other. There may be no string attached, but let's follow the story and see. After giving her the yogurt, he covered the remaining and dropped it aside. Mr. Fred is a good man, but his frequent help to Mr. James' wife and closeness are making him not to be too sure of himself. When Mr. James returned home during the weekend, Mr. Fred spent time with him to talk to him about his wife's health condition. He told him why she is having constant sickness. He told him that his wife needs attention and serious treatment of infection. He told him that the major cause of her menstrual pain is infection. Mr. James started by appreciating Fred for his help so far and told him that he has ordered for the infection medicine from his friend in China. He said that he had a plan of giving his wife a proper and complete treatment, but Fred told him that he must have to do something now while waiting for his friend to send the medicine. Few weeks after, the medicine from China refused to land. Then Fred secretly discussed with Nene to bring her a locally made herbs which is capable of treating such infection. She gave her consent. Fred traveled and came back with the medicine, and already the pain has started. He started the treatment immediately. She took the bitter mixture 3 times a day as recommended by the herbal doctor. Of course, things went well because the following month, Nene did not experience any abnormal pains, and she called Fred out to talk about that with him. This is beginning of friendship between Mr. James' wife Nene and Mr. Fred, their neighbor. What has started between these two adults is very risky and should not be found between a married person and any other person outside his or her spouse. Some days after, Mr. James called his wife to discuss the way forward with her. He started by pleading with her to bear with him. He said that his friend in China disappointed him by not sending the drugs he gave him money to buy. He told her that he will look for another person in China to buy the drugs for her. As he was still talking, something happened. His wife ran to the corner throwing up. She has been treated of the infection by Mr. Fred, so what could be happening to her again? Mr. James, without being told, started sensing danger. After throwing up, Nene returned to her seat. The husband kept quiet for some moment and started asking questions later. Her sickness has never made her to vomit, so he asked to know why the vomiting and asked her how she was feeling. When he asked that question, she threw her face away, and that was when Mr. James knew that something has gone wrong somewhere. He went straight to the point and asked her if she was pregnant, but she uttered no word. Mr. James has lost his home. He has lost his home to another man. One of the comments I got from somebody in part 1 of this episode was that women need love and care more than they need money. Please, following how this story has ended and this comment that women need love and care more than they need money, what do you have to say? Drop your comments so that many will learn from it. I want to thank you all viewers for being here with us. We have recorded over 100,000 persons following our Facebook page. We wouldn't have come this far without you, and we promise to keep improving in our videos. There is a challenge we are facing right now. We lost our shooting equipment, and that resulted to us shooting our videos with Android phone, which has no good video quality. It is not a must, but if you are led to support House of the Suns Global to acquire new equipment, it will be highly appreciated. With good equipment, we can go far in what we are doing. God bless you all, and see you next Friday. Please keep watching, keep commenting, and keep sharing our videos for many to learn. Bye for now.